Thanks, Sue. Very inspiring. A lot to think about. I'm just looking at our deposit that's gone right now. So, anyways, lastly, we have Stephen Sandor, editor of Avenue Edmonton, and he's here to talk on his push for an SCTV monument.
Hi, I'm the last person standing between you all and beer. I'm Steve Sandor, the editor of Avenue Magazine, and I'm here to talk about why Edmonton needs an SCTV monument. Just imagine Edmonton's this little dot on the map. And you're here for the first time, you're visiting, it's the first time you've ever been to this city, you're driving around and you're thinking, man, these people, there's two types of people in this city, sports stars and the people who aren't sports stars. Because let's face it, there's two types of people in Edmonton. We love, our most honored statue that people visit is of Wayne Gretzky. We have an Avenue of Champions, a giant baseball bat, and Mark Messier Trail. But Edmonton's also, hey, it's great, I love it. But Edmonton's also produced a lot of notable pop culture icons. Many of them didn't play hockey. Okay, they may have played hockey, but they didn't make it to the NHL. There's Frank Drebin here, Leslie Nielsen. And you may remember him as Frank Drebin. I remember him as the dashing captain from Forbidden Planet, but that's because I'm a geek. And there's Nathan Fillion, again, an ABC superstar from Edmonton. Again, I remember him best as the captain from Firefly, because I'm a geek. And, Bruce McCullough, we have Tommy Chong, we have John Acorn, the Nature Nut. But Edmonton's done so many wonderful things, and so many great people have gone on to do great things in their pop culture careers. And yet we don't recognize them. So where does this fit in with an SCTV monument? Well, a few months ago, we were thinking about doing a comedy issue for Avenue Edmonton. And we started thinking, okay, of course, SCTV, it was filmed here, probably the most remarkable comedy achievement the city's made. Yes, the people weren't from here, but why isn't it remembered? Why don't we have anything here that remembers these people? We have Bob and Doug here, and they're Canadian icons. And so many of this stuff is Canadian icons. We had 97th Street transformed into Russia because of Georgi. In fact, I think we should be really impressed that SCTV in its finest moments was able to transform Edmonton a facsimile of Siberia. The CCCP1 days. But this is a super creative time for the city. People still remember places like the Red Ox Inn, Fort Edmonton Park, being transformed into a farming collective for the CCCP1 episode. These were an important time in our city. And we transformed, it was really subversive time. We had a great subversive, this show was on a major American network. NBC picked it up almost immediately after they started filming in Edmonton. And it was almost subversive in a way. They had this fictional place called Mellonville. And it was Edmonton. We were beaming this out to the world, and this is Fort Edmonton Park, and this is fantastic again as the collective gulag that they wanted to put out there, and this wacky world of Mellonville, it was Edmonton, and we were sending this out to the world, and the Ukrainian Orthodox domes on 97th Street became like Red Square. It was sort of like just really crazy, and but SCTV was really unique. I mean, it was a groundbreaking show. I mean, let's face it, in the early 1980s. Do we all remember sitcoms in the 1980s? It was pretty boring. Set up, laugh track, punchline, haha. And then SCTV came up and was kind of abstract. There wasn't really a punchline to it. It was just this sort of stream of consciousness. It sets up things like Kids in the Hall and Mr. Show to come later. But this all roots back to SCTV. And a lot of these great characters and a lot of these actors started their careers here. And, when we went out and we put out our issue, readers came back to us and told us about the times that they remembered. Wow, it was great when they filmed in my street, when John Candy was here. And here they were, the Global Studios. We shot Joe Flaherty for our cover when SCTV, we did our issue. And if you've ever been to the Global Studios, there's like 2 pictures on the wall that the fact that SCTV was filmed there. Here it was, on just a little studio north of the White One. And there's nothing to remember it. And a few years ago, actually about 10 years ago now, where does this all tie in? It's about 10 years ago, I was in St. Paul, Minnesota, covering a roller hockey tournament for a UK hockey magazine, don't ask. And there's, outside my hotel, there's like a Lucy here, a Lucy there, a Lucy everywhere. Well, Charles M. Schultz is from there. And they wanted to celebrate the fact he's from there. There's also a Mary Tyler Moore Show, a monument in Minneapolis, if you remember that show from the 70s. A lot of you might not. Again, King of Kensington in Toronto. You know, there is in Kensington Market, there's a statue. I don't know if it deserves one, but it's there. And, you know, we have a lot of vacant lots like this in Edmonton. And wouldn't it be so much better if we had some kind of monument for one of our city's greatest achievements? I mean, you know, we can argue that the SCTV people, yeah, they weren't from here. They didn't settle here. But I'll give you an analogy. We'll go back to what I call the rule of Gretzky. Did I mention Oilers fans love to congregate around statues? Wayne Gretzky wasn't from here either, folks. And you know what? He didn't live here after he left. I mean, he was here, he enjoyed his best years here, and then he got out of town. Yari Curry comes from a place where consonants are like a novelty, okay? And he's not from here either, and it's just the same as Bob and Doug. They had their best years here, they were a duo here, and we should celebrate the fact. And the reason this is up is 2014, we talk a lot about the arena, biggest sporting event to come to the city in about 30 years, Women's World Cup. Way bigger than anything the arena is ever going to give us. Thousands of tourists are coming to our city, and it's time maybe to show our sense of humor. So I think it's time for us to go to City Council and say, yeah, SCTV, it deserves a monument. So we should go to the mayor. I see Councillor Henderson here. I saw Councillor Iveson here earlier. Because, yeah, we can argue, why SCTV? Why not any of these other great people I've mentioned? And I think it's a great debate. I think that I think that it's important that we get other people recognized in this city who aren't just hockey players. I want to live in a city where I say I'll meet you for coffee at the corner of McLuhan and Kinsella, not at like some numbered streets. All right, like I mean, let's remember what's great about the city. The Avenue Edmonton petition is at avenueedmonton.com. We want to hear your ideas. We want to hear what you want to say about the SCTV monument. Let's support this, folks. And now let's drink.